That was it. We've been watching those guys. I mean, we've been to a few of their shows. They're okay. But yeah. So
You have probably seen the last show that you will.
Don't anticipate any encores.
oh
As it
dear.
were.
That's we were planning a festival, so I'm not sure. I suppose we'll have to bring in some folks from the road, but
Maybe there could be a different kind of festival, like asparagus festival or something like that.
Or it could still be a musical festival. Guys, we play music.
oh, okay.
If you can call it that.
We'll have our people talk to your agent, but don't hold your breath. But more to the point, you ask about this force of corruption, and of course that's why we're here ourselves. As you might have guessed, that the villagers they call us the witches, but nothing could be further from the truth. Literally, the truth is nowhere to be found near that. It's a long way from that. We are here and have been set here on our mission to observe and constrain the evil of the Count. Wow, what did EO leave that's just like floating in the air there?
I don't know. That's interesting.
That's crazy. Okay, sorry. We've been here for hundreds of years, watching the Count and making sure that his evil doesn't actually overtake the poor souls of these villagers, and that is exactly what we were hoping you guys might be able to help out with, because we'd like to clock out and maybe take a vacation somewhere less gloomy. But
A little more sunshine. Yeah.
more sunshine sounds nice. Maybe something that isn't coniferous trees. Anyway, in keeping his reign of terror from encroaching on the village, we've had to be a bit standoffish for them, and they've kind of misinterpreted that, but we look out for them nonetheless. And but the interesting thing is, they actually don't even realize that the Count is there. I mean, you saw, did they show you his castle, or what they think of as the ruins of his castle from the village? I mean, show me your.
Did they? I don't remember.
Well, show me your map that they gave you there.
Here.
And, you
Slide
see how it's marked here on this map they kindly gave you as just that ruined wreck up on that bluff there.
Oh,
Well,
sure.
Let me show you what it really looks like, because we are not affected by the illusion that the Count. Whoops, copy. Thank you. No. We are not affected by the illusion that not link. As you can see when you look out our window from the windmill here, it's very much not the ruin that the villagers suppose. And this is you can tell it's the sign of an impressive illusion magic that the Count has imposed to hide his presence. So, among many things, you will need to be on your guard against his charms and wiles and thuses and therefores. But that is not all we are here to talk to you about. We have heard interesting rumors. And of course, we do not go to the castle and confirm these things ourselves, but lots of detail filtering back to us from various sources and methods and things like that. That the Count is collecting the relics of Saint Uller. You may have heard of him. He's the patron saint of that church in the village in Colty. But the Count, he keeps these relics in isolation in various parts of his castle, is what we understand it to be. And it seems he may even be afraid of them. And this makes us think that the best chance we may have to defeat him, and by we, I mean you, would be to recover these relics from within his castle and find some way to use them together to foil him. So we notice, interestingly, it seems you might have one of these relics already. Did one of you?
I have this cube here. Is it this?
What? Let me take a look at that. My goodness, where did you find this? How did you come? How did this come to be in your scrawny paws there, sir dog?
Well, remember we mentioned that we were at that music show with the Electric Mayhem Band.
The slide people.
Those are the guys. Yep. You'd be surprised what kind of things you could find at those musical shows.
Well,
there's all kinds of merch.
Did you bring us a t-shirt?
Well, I have one here with a dog on it. Would you be interested in that?
No, since you were saying that they've broken up, I thought perhaps the
it could be a collector's
item. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyhow,
I think it is more accurate to say that they were broken up, but that's another story.
I see. No, I don't. Regardless, it doesn't matter. This, my friends, this is a very powerful relic of the saint. This is the root cube. You might notice it has been carved from roots, but it is a cube, and therefore it is the root cube, Saint Uller. And this is these sigils and signs and things. The right person in the right hands, paws, whatever that bird thing has, in the right hands, this is a powerful mechanism for protection against the ravages of an evil like the Count, because if you push it just so, it reduces the damage that an attack causes to the square root of the damage.
Nice.
So it can only be used a certain number of times. Do not over rely on this, but this is a powerful tool that you should keep. I notice it has
not the cube root, just the square root.
Just the square root, but I think you have to press on different faces. So
what if you're healed and therefore take negative damage?
where I've never tried it. I wouldn't recommend. That's an interesting question.
It's a pretty deep question, Faz. I'm not sure if the jury.
I can't even
is
imagine
out.
what it would be.
I think the jury's still out as to whether healing is negative energy or whether negative energy has no square root. That's maybe imaginary. Anyway,
it's interesting that you mentioned negative energy. I'm good. Let's put a pin in that. Not a pin. But regardless, I noticed that this, well, there, I would say bird looking thing, but you do seem to have two bird looking people, but the scrawny one, this cube seems to have a particular, well, it seems like it's interested in you, their little purple scrawny bird thing. What's it? What's your name?
Gonzo.
Let me
Great.
pass it on over to you, Gonzo. Here, Gonzo, take a look at this here cube.
So I think that this might be an important thing for this. Well, we'll talk about you in a minute too, but I have something else that I want to give you, because if you are collecting the relics of Uller, we actually have one of our own, and since you folks have passed our interview, I think we should probably pass this along to you. And Rizzo goes and shuffles around in the back and comes back with a sword. And it doesn't look like anything in particular. It's a pretty simple, it's not like jeweled pommel or anything like that, although it does have some kind of weird white thing on the end, because that's the picture of swords that I happen to find.
We sure this isn't Saint Euler, by the way? I'm just wondering.
Euler. No,
Different people
definitely-
pronounce it different ways. I'm just wondering.
Definitely Euler, definitely,
okay.
but not Euler,
All right, interesting.
oil. No.
Okay. No.
Mm.
I mean, I'm a man of faith myself. So I just was curious.
Fair question, I think, but no. I mean, maybe he oiled things once in a while. I suppose folks might do, but nope, can't say I ever can't think of it. But regardless, this sword is nifty, and I think somebody amongst you might be able to make good use of it. Not exactly sure. It's kind of a good blade. You can see, little sharpie. But the fun thing about it is that it divides you into, you may have heard of the spell of mirror image, and this allows you to divide yourself in exactly that same way, while still remaining a consistent whole for purposes of your role playing.
Could this sword also be used as a kitchen implement in order to fillet things, or
Skewer, even
Skewer.
skewer, like, well, if you add some frog's legs, but I don't mean to suggest, sorry, it just.
I've got two frog's legs. I don't really follow where you're going with that.
Doesn't that mean you have an extra?
Look, that's enough out of you. We already passed the
That was
interview.
Rizzo, for the record.
My point is do you think that this is more of a hack and slash sort of sword, or does it require a little finesse?
I think you could probably do either, as you prefer. It's
Is it a great big sword, or is it a tiny sword that a Dex user would wield?
Yeah, sorry. I have it in my head as a longsword, but I did not make that point clear, and I apologize. But thank you for asking.
You made the edge clear, not the point.
Is it pointy?
Is it pointy? It's slashy. It's pointy. It's a floor wax. So that's well, there's one of the other folks who came through, just like left some stuff, but I can't imagine it's of use. But the main thing that I want to mention, well, we'll clean this out. This other trash and things that it was a messy guy. I I can't imagine this, but I don't want it cluttering up our laboratory. We have important things to be doing, so I'll give this to you as well. Yeah. Just, I just crumpled up bits of paper. Why is that not looking right? Hold on. Delete that one. Copy it again. See if it actually shows up with text this time. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool, better. But these are just, I don't know that this is gonna be useful for you at all, but we'll you can take that and do whatever you want with it. But the last bit that we need to tell you about before you get on your road to defeating the Count is about you, my fuzzy furry friend with the cube over there. Whatever you think you are.
Feather day too.
We
Feathered or fuzzy?
well,
Exactly.
he looks both, but he's got that big old beak.
Okay, poof, right.
Yeah, it's evident to us that that the danger that you face from the Count would be especially treacherous for you, my friend, because of what you are, of course, and I'm sure you know. So you really need to watch out. And with that, I think we can, unless you look mystified.
A little while since we've had to do logic puzzles. Some of us have been
Yes,
have
yes.
taken the LSAT for a
But
while.
I don't know what I am. What do you mean? Of course I know what I am.
What do you mean you don't know what you are? Well, of course you know what you are. What do you mean? What do I mean?
What do you think that I am?
Oh, I know exactly what you are. Don't you? But how do you not know where you come from? What kind of a what's it gonzo are? All right, fine. I know you know this history, but I'm going to recite it just because. So long centuries ago, those proud birdmen, the Aarakocra, went to war. Now, as everyone knows, the Aarakocra, they're proud, they're rigid, their social hierarchy cannot be deviated from. And they found themselves undermined at every turn by entropy. And they went to war to protect the class hierarchy that they felt was crucial to their way of life. They went to war against the forces of entropy, and you, Gonzo, are a legacy of that war. Your father, a particularly daring peacock scout of the Aarakocra 1st Battalion, was captured on the battlefield. In his captivity, your mother and he, well, she, of course, being one of the quasi-elementals of entropy born from the negative plane, they fell in love, and she helped him escape. We believe that it is the heritage of your mother that interests the Count more than anything else. We're not certain why, but he seems to be searching for negative beings. And he's just had a parade of them in here. But he must think that you host a more concentrated version of negativity because of that parentage. And that's that we think you must be careful.
Wow.
Good voice.
Precisely. And with that, gentlemen, we must bid you adieu. Farewell, good day. I say good day.
Good day.
Good day, sir.
And they show you out of the
Abandoned windmill.
out of the windmill, or the old abandoned windmill. So they did point out while you were looking out the window that basically the road to the castle runs through these clouds up to a rocky defile that leads, the path leads upward towards the castle gate. So they kind of, as they're brusquely getting you out, just kind of indicate that that's the path to take, and it will, if you just follow your noses or beaks or what have you, it will lead you up towards the entryway. So, what would you like to do?
What do you think, guys?
I think that I have always been an advocate for reading the directions, and we have been handed something that I cannot fully understand, that it might serve us well to contemplate before we leap into action.
Mean the crumpled up paper?
Do you have anything else to read?
I mean, I got a newspaper. I got a couple of novels,
What about all that sheet
Poetry.
music?
some sheet music, some
Yes,
lyrics I
yes,
was
I'm
working
talking about the
on.
crumpled up papers.
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah.
This is actually a logic puzzle. Stepping out of character.
What?
Yeah, it looks like it.
And then the question is, do we need to actually know anything on it before we jump in?
Anyone think they've?
That's going to take some time.
I just have been starting to write down all the names. I'm not even close to solving it yet.
I mean, there's names,
There's names, places, and blood types would probably be the hooks, right?
there's adjectives, there's the grim member, and there's seat position too.
Yeah, position helps. Yeah, that's true.
We may not need to solve this right now, but there's clearly something going on here. And it does look like the Magic the Gathering cards on slide 14 give us some clues.
Some clues. Okay.
They're not Magic the Gathering. They're trading cards.
Yes.
My son went to go play it at the local game store today, actually.
Oh, tell him to
How do you
stop
do?
before he wastes all of his money ever on it.
Yeah, he's already like, he's like, Dad, can I borrow some cash? I was like, oh boy. But
Too late.
today. But the issue, I guess, I don't know, someone was saying like you don't want to get in, if your kids get into Magic, the good news is they won't be able to get into drugs because they'll be broke.
AP, you got out enough to get a haircut.
That was a while ago,
Or
actually.
was it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I just like that was before I had my COVID, so that's
Oh,
It was
all
a while
right.
ago.
I take it
A while
back.
ago,
I thought
yeah.
you,
So Bran is another word for Transylvania, it sounds like. Maybe.
I mean, also, I don't know if we're supposed to bring outside knowledge about where the vampires might be from, right? Or if it's supposed to be all self-contained here.
But now New Orleans, hold on.
Wasn't Lestat from there?
Yes.
I will tell you that it's all self-contained.
It's all self-contained, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the question is, do we feel like we need to solve this right now, or do we want to come back to it? It's clearly like
Yeah,
relevant. back.
there's some work to do here. I mean,
There is some work to do here.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. DM, should you want to take us? Should we work on?
you know, you guys might want to do a little bit of more exploring and see if, you know, there's anything else that comes along and helps you kind of clarify what's going on.
And maybe Scooter here can take a look at that while we're walking, and we can explore, make some progress.
So
Does,
outside
does anybody have a
metagaming,
phone?
EO and I did not want to dump this on you at the end of a session and say, hey, you've got a week to go figure it out.
You have some homework.
Instead, you're dumping it to us on us in the middle of a session and saying you have a week to figure it out.
Well, you know, you've got you know, there might be more information that you come across that might be useful. Maybe not. I don't know.
That's fine. I'm good to see what we can see. I'm curious how telephones and social media work, given the contact information for these locksmiths.
Well, it's for sendings.
Oh, okay.
All right. What would you guys like to do? And if you guys want to work on this, that's fine. There's nothing
Well,
wrong with
Can we at least try to identify what is their seating position, names, place, blood type? Is there anything else
Yeah,
Just
there's the adjective,
adjective.
terrible, grim, fierce.
Got it, got it. Yeah.
And there are 6 in total, right? But I'm only
Yeah.
seeing 5 of lots of things.
Well, there's the ex officio member who's from Melbourne.
Yeah, and I see, okay, yeah, I see 6 locations.
So what are the 6 locations you have? So I have,
Paris, Agra, which apparently is in India,
yeah,
Melbourne, Salem, Bran, and New Orleans.
yep. And
I think
it says on the
Bran is in-
magic card that Spike, nay William Pratt, lives in Agra. For what that's worth. And the names, we have 2 names on the trading cards, Barnabas Collins and,
3 names.
sorry, Spike, Barnabas Collins and Nandor. And then we also have Orlok, which Vlad and Lestat. Am I missing anything? So those are 6 names? Does that sound right?
Wait, 6. Spike, Collins, Nandor, Lestat, Vlad, and
Spike, Collins, Nandor, Lestat, Vlad, and Orlok, right?
oh, okay. All right.
So those are 6 names. We got 6 locations. Blood types.
I started a tab.
So the normal blood types plus X and F.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And then
We have grim, fierce, terrible.
I mean, we could do one of these crazy matrices, or whatever
Right.
those are called.
It's like a grid.
Yeah, the grid thingy.
That's like a stair-steppy grid.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they Carno maps?
Are they? If there's I'm sure there must be a name for it.
I had no idea there was a name for that, man.
So what is it? It's called a Carno map, you said? So what are the tags?
There's at least grim, fierce, and terrible.
I see terrible. I
And
see.
cruel. And cruel.
Where do you see that?
Well, it says
That's-
Barnabas is not cruel. Devious, maybe?
There's no Simon here.
Orlok's devious neighbor?
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, so yeah, so we're supposed to be grabbing adjectives like had you think fierce support from the member to his right? Fierce is meaningful there.
I
Because
know.
on the second page, it says the Louisianan who cannot be described as either grim or fierce. So I do think so.
And monstrous member from Salem.
There you go.
This-
I'm sorry, I'm still missing a. I'm missing a location. What was it again? Paris, Agra, Melbourne, Brand, Salem, and
New Orleans
oh yeah,
or Louisiana? Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, with 5 dimensions, this the charts get a little tricky. Not impossible.
So we have
Well,
D.
I mean, it could also, no, shut up.
I mean, yeah, there a number of the connections I think are given in the trading cards. Maybe.
For Well, trading cards definitely will be helpful. I mean. Monstrous.
So where does Nandor live now? It's not in Salem, not Staten Island. What is ascending? I realize I'm switching gears.
That's a spell, sending
It is a
spell.
spell. Okay.
Yeah.
Which classes have it?
For sure, wizards. I don't know.
Cleric, wizard,
Oh, I don't
druid,
I don't have that one. I don't think.
probably bard, I would think. I guess I don't know that for sure.
Can we just tell you that we put that there as a joke flavor, not like
Not a
an
clue.
actual thing?
Not as a way to actually contact the
think-
locksmith.
I think I suggested it as a replacement for facts.
Fine.
Have any of you ever played Skyrim?
No.
Oh my God.
Okay.
They've released it like 19 times. How did you not buy it at least one of those?
These people have more lives than we do. That's the problem, you know.
No, it's just in the other direction. They have even less lives than we do.
Oh,
The issue is that I am very bad at video games, so I do not buy them.
okay. So all of the stuff on there, I will tell you this. There are no clues to the puzzle in the pamphlet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it does suggest how the lock works, which let me also, since I didn't do this before, you guys keep going. Let me go see if I can find a video that shows how the locks work in Skyrim. Sorry.
Do we want to do like a couple? We could do several 2x2 grids and see where things.
Can we actually just, I want to just do something super bite-sized, which is just, I'm going to just ask what data we think are on the magic cards. Because it doesn't, so there's the name, there's Barnabas Collins is somebody's name.
Yeah.
Spike
Also someone's name.
lives in Agra.
Yes.
Do we think that there's any other information on either of those cards? I guess maybe the fact that he's the longest serving member on Barnabas Collins might be relevant in some way.
Maybe. Yeah.
And then the Nandur, I don't,
He's type A. He prefers
Type
type A.
A. right? And that's it. That's the
That's
only
all
thing
I
I
got.
got. That's the only thing I got from those cards. So on the Barnabas thing, besides the existence of that name, the only data that seemed like it was on the card was potentially that he was the longest serving. Like I didn't see anything to connect it to any other.
Does that mean he's not ex officio?
That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
Or maybe he is ex officio because he is the longest serving.
So he might not be the elected member, he might be the observer.
Hmm.
Don't know, but I think that's the only thing I think that's supposed to be the thing we're focusing on that card. I don't know what sign it has yet. So then I would say tentatively, we don't need to look anymore at the trading cards.
I think that's probably right.
Do we want to? Focus
Go ahead, AP.
on types or something, or like pick one other.
I don't understand why Nandor has type AB when the playing card says that Nandor discovered that A was his favorite repast
Why did you say Nando had type AB?
on our spreadsheet.
Oh, there's a spreadsheet.
Started one.
Yes.
Nandor has type A. They're not ordered. The things are just there, and I was using color coding.
Sorry, where is, I'm not. is this
Go to
in
the
Slack or
Muppets
something?
D&D party spreadsheet.
Yes. There's the,
Like we
logic
use for
puzzle
initiative
thing.
rolls
I
and
got
stuff.
it. Okay, sorry.
No, it's all good.
So we're color
Yeah.
coding by
Can
matches.
I just change that blood type to A again?
We could switch them if that will make you happier. I'll remove the color in the top. We can make that AB.
So the links were by color, right? That was the idea.
That was the idea. Yeah. There's a lot more like exclusions than
Right.
inclusions.
Well, maybe we could just write those down, like Orlock, not.
That's true. All right. Yeah. All the things he's not. And we should just. But then there's like the representative from Salem is not the Grim or whatever. So it's like this is why the grids.
Yeah, but I mean, even if, I mean, for me, it would just be helpful, even if we don't grid it up yet, just to like
Sure.
write the data. Like,
That's true. Yeah. Like so every little.
so I
piece
don't have to keep rereading the thing a bajillion times if we just
Yep.
like extracted the info.
Yep. That makes sense.
So Orlock is not type O. And Paris is not type O. And Devious is type
All
O.
right. All right. So hang on. All right, sorry. Okay, so Orlock is not type O.
Devious is type O.
There was another not type O.
And Paris is not type O.
Okay.
So Vlad is not Agra.
Okay.
Vlad is not fierce.
Okay.
And I think fierce is not Agra.
Okay. That would, yeah, by transitive property. No, never mind.
I think they're separate.
No, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
I retract that.
The Melbourne is ex officio. Melbourne is not Lestat. And Lestat is B.
That's not going to be okay. Hang on. I'm gonna hang on. Let's do this.
We're just talking about there's a logic puzzle has magic card.
Did I mention that I don't think we're going to get any combat today?
You did say that.
We're just doing everything we can to make sure that
Just potentially with each other is the.
All right. And then
Okay, Salem is monstrous.
just FYI, we are, and this may be not super easy to do. There is the relative seating position, but maybe that's a second order data collection.
Yes, that's true. So, sorry, monstrous is Salem.
Yeah.
I would, and Salem is not type X.
Yep.
Salem is not Spike.
which we know anyway, because
And-
Spike is Aqua.
And X is not Spike. And did I say Salem is not X?
Yes.
Okay. And Bran is
Also not X.
also not X.
Yeah.
Bran is not Salem.
Bran and Salem are both locations.
Sorry.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Bran, for the record, is where Vlad Dracula's castle actually is in real life.
Right. And Bran is not type X.
Right.
And Bran is not Spike.
F is not terrible. And terrible is AB.
And did we know that AB was somebody, or was that no? AB was A was somebody.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Barnabas and Lestat are both European.
And they say representatives, which means,
It means they're Paris and Bran. Between
Right.
the two of them.
and it also, but I was going to note that
Ah.
the ex
got it.
officio thing,
That might define whether they're elected or not, right? If they're representatives, they're elected.
I was thinking, but that given that the information about Barnabas was he was the oldest, I was kind of hoping that meant ex officio, but it seems like maybe not.
Is everyone described as representative?
Paris representative, 2 European representatives. Oh, so it's definitely not the same as in real life, right? Because Barnabas and Lestat are European, but they're aligned in opposition to the New Orleans plan.
Right. There definitely is this chair position thing, but I don't know how to.
Okay. Let me see if I can draw. a picture.
Lestat is in the second seat. So that's something.
Oh, how'd you get that?
Lestat likes the supply of type B, and then near the end, they say the proposals in favor of type B subsidies tabled.
Okay.
Oh, it's tabled like opposed.
That means
on the
like
table.
put aside.
Oh, okay.
Well,
fuck
it can
that.
mean either put aside or put forward, depending on context.
That's
Boy.
So we don't know.
In this
Nice.
meaning, in that usage, I think it's fair to read that as proposals put on the table for consideration by the second chair.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So Lestat is seat 2.
Wait.
And
Wait, I'm sorry. Why do we know Lestat is C? Because Lestat is B and CB
this
is
is type
C2.
B, yeah.
Got it. All right. Well, then let's throw the color on 2 as well.
And we know that Barnabas is either 1 or 3, right? Because they're adjacent to each other.
Oh, really?
It says matters came to a head when Barnabas and Lestat seated adjacent to one another as two European representatives.
Okay.
So Barnabas is either 1 or 3. Now,
I'm sorry, I'm running behind it. Keeping these things up.
now the guy from Agra, Spike, that was not the one who we knew the type yet, right?
Correct. We knew Nandor's type from the cards.
Wait, so
God.
we think Spike is from Aggro?
Yeah, it says so on the card.
Hey, Dad, this is not important to the session, but I did want to brag about it. I got a 102 on the test with a 3-point curve.
Nice.
Solid.
What happened to that last
what test?
Is that programming?
Intro to programming,
Awesome.
which admittedly isn't fair because I've already taken 2 years of programming, but whatever.
Hey, any 102 should be celebrated. Except for possibly a fever.
Just as a question, Dad, how long are we expecting this to run?
As long as it takes.
Less than
Well,
6 hours,
we're-
I hope.
We're definitely not going past 11 o'clock on the East Coast because that's our hard stop.
And we're sure that they don't have any tools they could help to organize them?
What? Yeah,
We're making progress.
they're making progress.
Oh. Spike, the Salemite, and Terrible are all exclusive. So
And it does seem like it could be that some of those could overlap with Orlok. Yeah, do you guys read the Grim member Orlok and the member from Agra as being one and the same as Spike, the Salemite, and the Terrible in those 2 sentences?
they could be. Yeah, that's true.
I don't.
All right, so Orlok is not Grim.
Do you think it's in the same order? Are we allowed to assume that, do you think?
I don't know.
That Spike is the Grim, Orlok is the Salemite, and his neighbor is the Terrible? Or is that
Spike is the member from Agra, so he's not the Grim.
Spike is from Agra?
Yeah.
Okay, so the order is not the same.
Should we go back to the positions and see? Because like that, I think we haven't fully fleshed out.
For sure. So what do I know? I know that we know that Orlok.
We know that in seat number 2 is Lestat, who is either from Bran or Paris.
Yep.
And we know the order has to go, on one side of Bran is Salem, and on the other side of Bran is Paris, I think. Hold on. Yeah, because Salem is sitting next to the person from Bran, and Bran is sitting next to the person from Paris. Whatever that's worth.
Salem is sitting next to Bran. We know that.
Yeah, the last paragraph on the first page.
And Paris is n+3 mod 6 from,
Well, can we just by fiat decide that it goes
No.
like Salem, Bran, Paris in our ordering? There's no without loss of generality, right?
No, it could be the other way. I mean, they sit
Oh,
like
but I don't know what
somebody's-
other way means, right? We have to choose an orientation. Oh, I guess since there is a
No,
numbering.
It says
there's an
someone is in
implied
the
numbering,
second
sorry.
chair.
You're
So,
right. So there is an implied numbering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they ever use numbers besides that? Besides two?
there's a 4, I think. Yeah.
The third
Louisiana-
seat. The
New
third
Am-
seat,
oh.
the advocate subsidizing F.
Huh.
Oh, I missed that.
So that means either Paris goes with F or Salem goes with F.
No, because the stat could be from Paris.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So it could be. But I don't think it could be psych. Okay. Oh, I think that eliminates psych from subsidizing F. Because I've got in my little diagram here, I've got. Oh, let me.
Your
let me
screen's-
flip my background. Yeah. Go away. All right. So I've got this. All right. And F has to be, I don't even know at this point. F can't be spiked for some reason. Why was that? Because F is in the third seat. Okay. And so if Bran or Paris, one of these, Bran and Paris, one of these is seat 2. So seat 3 might be this, might be this, might be this, might be this, but can't be X and can't be Spike. I don't know where seat 3 is, but I know it can't be X or can't be Spike. So Spike does not like F. And so that means Spike likes type O. Because I think I've eliminated everything else from Spike.
Sorry, we're losing your audio. I think as you turned your head.
Okay, I think Spike has to like type O because I think I've eliminated everything else from Spike.
Okay, that would make him devious too.
Oh, really?
Because yeah, we learned that early on, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
that's the
you're right.
first sentence, yeah. So can you tell me the logic by which we know Spike is type O?
Sure. Well, first of all, so he's not A or B. And I
Because-
eliminated X and AB earlier.
Because of Lestat and whatever his name is.
Type X slap Spike, so Spike is not X.
Yep.
And the terrible likes AB, but Spike is not the terrible. Why? Yeah, Spike
no,
is not the
Spike-
terrible because of the end.
Because of the what? Sorry.
Near the end, Spike, the Salemite, and the terrible all have a long
Ah,
history.
got it. Yeah.
Okay. So that just leaves Spike is either O or F. But so again, going back to this, we had the Salemite, had Bran on one side, and had the X advocate and Spike over here. I assume that when it meant when the Salemite reached past the X advocate to stop Spike, I
Yeah.
assume that meant that they were in this order.
Yeah, I think that seems,
Okay.
unless Bran is the X advocate, is that possible?
No, because it said the Bran advocate from the other side.
Oh, it said that they were united in the opposition.
The representative from Bran on the Salemite's other side.
Yeah, and it also says that they're united in opposition to X. We got that earlier. Okay, good.
Okay,
So I think I agree with you that Spike is O and he is devious.
Right.
okay.
That's great. So now we also know that Orlok is next to someone devious.
It's
So Orla-
interesting. It's interesting that Jay's diagram looks kind of like that diagram on the pamphlet,
Yeah.
but not quite.
Only 5 seats on the pamphlet.
And there's 4 in that inner ring. We're gonna.
I think there's 5. No,
If there's 4, I'm going to be pissed.
looks like there's 5.
The innermost ring?
Yeah.
Count
No,
5
never
of all
mind.
of them.
There's absolutely 5. Sorry.
Whew.
So Orlok is next to Spike.
Do we
Right?
have a chair position?
If
for
there's
Spike?
only 5 positions, then I'm not in good shape. I was hoping there were 6 positions.
There's 6 positions. I think no, it's because it talks about people across. I think there's some trick with the ex officio being taken out or something for the lock, but I think we cross that bridge later. Because it mentions someone's across the table. That's only possible if there's an even number of people at a circular table. So
I mean, unless it just means not adjacent.
it had better mean across the table or someone.
Yeah, across the table from who exactly?
Well, that's just saying that they're relative. They're 3 apart from each other.
Who is? So
Okay.
Orlok's neighbor
Paris.
type O is across from Paris.
Correct. Spike.
Okay.
Spike is across from Paris.
I'm gonna interject here for a second.
That can't be.
Okay.
I'm gonna interject for a second and tell you that no, across the table does not mean literally that it has to be an even number of places.
All
It
right.
means not adjacent in that instance. Sorry, that's on me.
That's okay. That's why it's good you're here.
But we do have 6 people.
Maybe we don't. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe the ex officio person doesn't get a number.
Yeah, maybe only the representatives count.
I mean, in the picture, I only see 5 for what it's worth.
But that's not a picture of the table. That's a different picture.
Artist
talking about
renderings
the
over tax
lock or the-
dollars, hard at work.
Yeah, the picture of the tax dollars.
Oh, that picture.
All right. Well, anyway,
I mean, that would screw up my picture here, which told me that Spike was O.
Yeah.
So
Well, would it though?
probably.
Let's see.
we're missing Barnabas being not cruel. I'm going to put that in.
Well, I'm gonna be super confused if there's only 5 names.
There's 6 names. Still a question of whether only 5 are sitting at the table.
Uh-huh.
Or rather, I guess technically speaking, there are only 5 names, and Nandor we only know from the trading card. Is there anybody else that we know only from the trading card?
Is Barnabas Collins mentioned in the story?
He is.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Nandor is not on the trading card. Sorry, Nandor is on the trading card, but I don't see him anywhere.
Is there any mention of type A in the story? I don't think so, right?
I think you're right.
So maybe we don't need to worry about Mr. Nandor.
Or maybe he's ex officio.
He could be ex officio. Does that help?
I don't know.
And I'm not even tracking who's supporting or opposing. That's a whole nother level. You know,
Supporting as opposing
Yeah.
as opposed to just whether or not they are that person, you mean?
well, like if Vlad supports, Vlad has support from the member to his right, and then later you see people oppose each other, and that's a whole other level of clues that I'm not even dipping
Got it.
into yet.
Miller's gonna be so disappointed.
And AJ too. And this is right up their alley.
I can't say how much I miss both of those two right now.
Well, they would have
Done
lapped
10
us.
minutes ago.
They would have wiped it up and not given us any chance to
Yeah.
contribute. So.
They'd be done. So yeah, I'm still confused about what to make of the ex officio business and whether that's related to the sixth name, which seems to decouple, which is type A. Maybe that's not a thing. Because there's a speaker from Melbourne who attends in an ex officio capacity. Offered mere tepid support, and we don't hear anything else.
About Melbourne? No, I don't
About
think we do.
Melbourne or where that person was sitting, right? Or where Melbourne is sitting. So maybe Melbourne also decouples from everything else. So I'm starting to think the type A Melbourne, whatever his name is, guy
Nandor.
from the magic card.
Right.
Is to be removed from.
Have none of you you guys watched What We Do in the Shadows?
Oh, I have.
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm very disappointed there is no relentless adjective here, but that's okay.
Why do you think the Nandor guy? Why do you think the Type A guys from Melbourne?
Well, I'm just saying that in the story, there's this
Oh,
the speaker from Melbourne who everyone knows attends only in an ex officio capacity, offered mere tepid support for Lestat's proposal. And that's the only thing we hear about Melbourne. It doesn't link into any other information that I can see. And since we have 6 names and 6 blood types and 6 places, I also need to like assign a place to the person who might not be sitting down.
Yeah, I think you're right that it certainly seems like that Nandor gets whatever. We may have to just make some assumptions here to start. But I think
I'm tending to think that Nandor is type A and from Melbourne and not at the table.
Right.
But that may come back to bite us.
I'm not comfortable with assuming that, but
Okay, well then that's not.
well, I don't know. Doesn't have to be a group thing.
we can head down, like, we may need to assume things and then, but also double back if it proves not to work.
Yeah,
So we
that's,
just
yeah,
keep track of our off ramps.
do our Sudoku, that's fine.
Right. But there also is no mention of a 6th chair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the extent to which this assumption may come back to bite us is like with the epithets, right?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, he gets one and he's not at the table.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way.
Oh, that's the issue. We can see who is actually at the table. Oh, maybe not. We can see. Maybe that's,
What do you mean, that there's 5 of them?
yeah, like in terms of, does it sufficiently say who is, which of these various things are connected to being at the table? That would, I think, allow us to, like, for sure eliminate both the city and the adjective. Because, like, there's some things where it says, like, so-and-so is not fierce or cruel, but it doesn't say whether or not the fierce or cruel people are definitely at the table.
I see.
The devious person is definitely at the table.
Orlok's definitely at the table. Paris is definitely at the table.
I'm just focusing on the adjectives. I think at this
Okay,
point.
oh, sorry, okay.
No, it's fine. I think your assumption on Nandor, A, and Melbourne not being at the table is probably right. Or at the very least, let's just work with that as our foundational assumption right now. So devious is at the table.
Monstrous is at the,
Fierce is at the table. Oh, yeah. Do we have Vlad not being fierce? We do. Okay. Yeah. So devious is at the table. Fierce is at the table. Monstrous is at the table. Terrible is at the table.
how do we know?
Top right, second page is says the terrible person insists on type AB.
But does that mean he has to be at the table? Or are we just assuming that it's, since he's not,
I think they're all probably at the table except for the ex officio.
and I think we're just trying to verify that the ex officio, who's the ex officio?
Yeah.
Is it Melbourne? Is it, think we figure out what adjective goes with them?
I'm sorry, what was it? Is it fierce or is it a choice between fierce or grim? Devious, monstrous. Devious, monstrous, fierce. Terrible. And grim are all at the table. So cruel is not at the table, it appears. Does anybody see anything that would put cruel at the table?
What about Grim? How did you get?
Second page, about halfway down, the grim member said nothing as Orlok.
But why?
Since he's
Why
a
does that
member,
mean? What's that?
you are right. I could see the argument for why the grim member could also be an ex officio member. I guess I'm just gonna make the assumption that since he's being described as a member.
Oh,
And like I said, does anybody see any reason why cruel is at the table?
No, I don't know.
no. I don't. So we're spending a lot of time getting rid of.
Because it eliminates something. So, like,
so we think we've gotten rid of, we think there's nothing that couples cruel Melbourne. Type A.
and Nandor to anybody who's being described at the table.
Okay. That is our tentative.
Yeah, sadly, I think we are gonna have to keep going with this, like who's sitting next to whom thing. Oh, hmm,
But is there
There's something.
something? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
At the very beginning, Barnabas spoke first. So then,
Yeah, I was having trouble with that too, because he's
how much-
never been
yeah,
thought cruel.
right, we know he's not cruel, but I guess the question is, can we also use that to eliminate a bunch of other stuff that comes afterwards? Like, so Barnabas is also not devious and is also not.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, we know Barnabas is not devious because that's Spike, but I guess the question is, how much can we use Barnabas having spoken first to eliminate other things?
Uh-huh. Or is it just that first sentence?
Sam, give me a insight check.
You might be on my dice. Well, I rolled a 1, so I'm going to say that it's probably not going to do it.
Here's what I'll give you for a 1.
I got a +4, so it's a 5.
Oh, okay. Here's what I'll give you for a 5. That's it.
The same thing?
Well, okay. If you get a critical failure and it's not modified, I might lie to you, but I'm not going to do that. How's that?
There you
There you
go.
go.
By the way, EO, you
Yeah.
should just know that in the background, Ben has told me that both you and I are going to burn in hell for this.
This is great.
I
I'm
follow
loving
the Pope on Twitter. I will burn significantly less long than you will.
Hey,
I'm
you
loving it.
ask me theological questions in the background, I answer.
I'll also point out that I am technically attending this Zoom meeting in an ex officio position. I'm
Oh,
only
dear.
here because of my position, yet I'm not helping.
But are you a member of the call?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, thanks for that.
Oh.
Sorry, that's my 2 cents of I don't want to be here until 3 a.m.
All right.
That's what you get for a 5.
Do we figure out? Okay, wait a second. Do we figure out where Spike was from yet?
He's an Agra. That's on the card.
Okay. So do we think that the table looks like Paris, Brand, Salem, New Orleans, Agra?
I don't know about New Orleans. Why?
Because New Orleans is X.
New Orleans is
say-
X.
And did you
How do we
say,
know?
because it says they were united in their opposition to New Orleanians' plan to fund an expansion of production of synthetic type X?
Okay. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
thanks.
So Paris, Brand,
yeah,
Salem,
nice.
New Orleans, Agra.
But we just don't know which number gets which.
Uh,
But have we
well-
decided if there are 5 or 6 seats at the table?
Well, that's under the 5 seat.
Okay, I'm still going with 6 seats, but all right, that's cool.
Well, if there's a 6 seat, then it just goes in between those maybe, no? Or we couldn't use the across method.
Then it goes after Agra and before Paris.
Yeah, which would be that would be Melbourne, the magical 6 seat.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for that.
So just don't put, are you saying that, is that the order? You think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or just that?
No, I'm just
That's
telling you. the
relative
circle.
position.
Yeah, for
Okay,
the moment.
okay. We have been given something we can use to play out, like, because we know that Barnabas and Lestat, between them are Paris and Bran. So I'm wondering if like we pick one way and see how it falls out. And if it doesn't work out, we can walk it back.
I think, yeah, we could for sure do that. I think there's also something to be done here with the, we know Orlok is next to Spike.
Wait, it says the Louisiana occupies the 4th seat.
Right.
Okay,
Okay, so there we go.
Okay.
so
That's cool.
Salem is 3rd, Bran is 2nd, and Paris is 1st.
So that means that Lestat is from Bran, because Lestat is in the 2nd seat.
Okay.
And then Barnabas is in the 1st seat from Paris.
Which perhaps might make sense. He spoke first.
Yeah.
As is traditional.
As is traditional.
Okay.
And Orlok's neighbor is from Agra. So it does seem like if we're working under the, I mean, I know Jay, you don't want to do it, but if we're working under the 5 seat rubric, Orlok must be in 4 because Barnabas is in 1. And then that would mean that the neighbor of Spike, since type O is Spike, then Orlok would be in 4.
Spike is in 5. Is that
Spike is in 5. We have Spike ODV as Agra in 5. And we know that Orlok's neighbor was proposing type O. So if we're working under the 5 seat rubric, Orlok is in seat 4. And the Paris representative would in fact be across the table. So that's consistent with that. The Agra representative, Spike, sparred with Vlad, who had fierce support from his person to the right. I don't know quite what to do with that yet. And Lestat was type B.
and is in seat 3?
In seat 2.
Oh, I thought he was. Oh no, you're right. Wait, I'm sorry. Could you run through the order again?
I have Barnabas in 1, Lestat in 2.
I'm sorry. The geographic order one.
Sorry, Paris, Brand, Salem, New Orleans, Agra.
Okay, we know. All right, so if Barnabas is Paris, Lestat is Bran and in 2.
Right. And so then we just need to assign,
Yeah, Vlad is in 3.
Spike, the Salemite, and the Terrible Oh, boy.
Okay, we're getting there. So that Salem and New Orleans, we don't know which is which, right?
What do you mean? Like who's,
Okay, right. New Orleans is X, whichever one. Ugh.
wait, what names? So Vlad is from Salem under my
Vlad-
five seat. I mean, I
Oh,
don't know.
right.
I could probably get us there if we're doing 5 seats. If we're doing 6,
I think
Let's
it's
try
5
five.
seats.
so then
I think it's
Vlad
6
is the-
seats.
So Vlad is Salem then, if it's 5 seats.
1, 2,
Well, I
3,
just-
4, 5. The picture of the circular lock has 5 positions on each ring. And there's Roman numerals I through V. There's no VI.
So if we think it's Paris, Brand, Salem, New Orleans, Agra, and we know that Barnabas is in 1, Lestat is in 2, Spike is in 5, his neighbor who is Orlok must be 4, and that leaves one name left, which is Vlad, which would be in 3.
All right, we have 3 blood types,
So we're missing F and
X
AB at the moment.
and X, unless.
X is with Orlok in 4.
Oh, yes, right, okay. All right, so we know F is in 3. Does that work out?
Well, how do we know that?
I don't remember.
Well, because we're out
Yes.
of.
Oh, yeah.
colors.
F could be the advocate of the third seat is F.
Yeah, there we go.
And then we have AB would be in seat 1.
Yes.
That's the only blood type left.
Yep.
So then we just
Then
have
just-
epithets to
Yep.
go. And the terrible goes with AB, so it's Barnabas the Terrible.
Yep.
And AB. We have devious Spike in 5. So what about monstrous? Monstrous is from Salem. That's Vlad in 3.
So,
Okay.
Joe, I'll just point out that you colored Grim yellow, but what?
You're right. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
So we've got
I'm sorry, what was
New
Barnabas
Orleans.
again?
Barnabas is the Terrible.
Thank you.
We've got monstrous, the Salem guy, so that's in 3.
Yeah.
We've got Vlad has fierce support from his neighbor to the right. That would be Orlok. I think. We should double check that depending on what I don't know what right and left are here.
Right.
New Orleans.
New Orleans is not grim or fierce.
right. Not grim or fierce.
Uh-oh.
That means it's cruel.
Now we got problems.
Yeah, we were. Well, why did we think Nandor was cruel? Just because it wasn't mentioned. Right?
That may be.
I think that's the only reason.
Ralph, give me an inside check.
Who's doing the insight check?
I thought AP.
Oh,
was-
Ralph, sorry. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I'm just, doing a logic puzzle. Let's check what my modifier is there. Insight. I'm very insightful.
Wow.
I got a 15, but that's only because I rolled a 6.
So with a 15, what I'll tell you is that third seat, look at that pamphlet and you think the person sitting in that third seat on his right would be the person in the second seat
Oh, yeah, that's true.
on his right.
On his right. That is true. So if the Salem is yeah, where was I looking at the right? Fierce support. So fierce, that would put Lestat as being fierce.
Oh. I don't think that means he's a fierce person. I didn't take that to mean that was their adjective.
Oh, well, that
Was
was the
fierce
only
even-
reason we,
Oh, I think so. I think so. I mean, otherwise, one should assume that all words in the logic puzzle have meaning.
the terrible, fierce, monstrous. So then if that's true, we're just trying to figure out whether the fourth seater is grim or cruel.
Right, but we already, I think, know that it's not grim, so it could be cruel.
So what, remind me how we know it's not grim? I just don't.
No, that's fine. I don't remember myself.
Oh, Louisiana cannot be described as either grim nor fierce. Occupied the fourth
Yeah.
seat, so he would be cruel.
Grim is neighbors with Agra.
Oh, where's the grim thingy?
Yeah, that's good.
Grim member said nothing as Orlok and his neighbor, the member from Agra. Oh, Orlok and his neighbor, the member from Agra.
And that actually would make sense with the grim member saying nothing being the ex officio person.
Okay, so we're thinking, what's his name? Nandur could be
Cool.
from Melbourne.
I'm sorry, Nandor is grim. Nandor from-
Nandur, yeah, Nandur the Grim from Melbourne, who liked type A.
Yeah.
Is the person who's not at the table. And then
is
we
the ex
have,
officio person saying nothing.
yeah. Barnabas Barnabas the Terrible from Paris, who likes AB, number one.
So
It's not-
New Orleans has to be cruel, right?
Yes, that's what we think.
Am I behind everybody else? I think that's absolutely true.
All right, so we think we cracked the nut, maybe. Is there anything inconsistent with this solution?
I mean, that's the nice thing, is like we haven't run into anything that was actually inconsistent.
Should we just read the whole story again, like with our assignments,
Yeah,
and see if this is fine? So Barnabas, who had never been thought cruel because we think he's terrible, spoke first, and we have him in the first seat. At the circular council table, Orlok, who by the way is
tell you what, give me just 20 seconds to reorder this thing.
Okay, yeah, I actually haven't
Love
been looking at the spreadsheet. I just have my own diagram. I have to admit. I'll let you do your thing and then I'll keep reading. Let me know when you're good to go.
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm just going to do insertion start until.
Yeah, the thing with the colors was more helpful than the way I was writing it out. So more than halfway through, I switched over to looking at the same spreadsheet and it started to make a little more sense.
I should have been looking at it this whole time.
I know.
I just was scribbling on my own paper.
Only there were a color sort option in Google Sheets, then we'd really be. in
Well, we'll have to
business.
talk to them about that.
We really should.
I have a Zoom call on many Saturdays with someone who works at Google. All right.
Um,
All right. So should we read through the story with our
Let's
answer
do it.
sheet here? Okay. So we got Barnabas, who had never been thought cruel because we think he's terrible, spoke first from what we think is seat one. At the circular council table, Orlok, his devious neighbor, who we believe is Spike, proposed subsidies for type O blood, which the Paris representative across the table. Uh-oh. That's
Well,
not,
if Nandor's at the table in seat 6, then Barnabas is not next to Spike.
All right, well, let's see if that can work.
Wait, we have Nandor as the ex officio.
Yeah,
Right,
why do
but
you
he may
think
still be
that?
he could still be sitting at the table.
Well, but a lot of this was predicated on only 5 people.
Hmm. Well, I mean,
So now I'm worried that we are.
Why do we think Nandor is from Melbourne?
if we think he's ex officio, the Melbourne person is ex officio,
Why do we think Nandor is ex officio?
because he's not mentioned by name.
I don't, okay, I don't love that.
Because we have the subsidies for type O. With the Paris person across the table. Yeah, that's no good.
All right, well, let's note that as a potential issue, but keep
Well, it
pressing.
seems pretty damning to me. I don't know.
Let's keep going and see what else happened. Because if that is the only thing, we may be able to explain it away. If there are other things, then we will know we're in trouble.
Okay. Meanwhile, the Agra representative, who we think is
Fine.
Spike himself, sparred with Vlad, who we think is from Salem, who had fierce support from his member to his right, who we think is Lestat, the fierce. In contrast,
Spike is definitely from Agra. That's like just straight from a card. So
yeah, we know that for
Yeah.
sure. In contrast, the speaker from Melbourne, who everyone knows attensively in ex officio capacity, mere tepid support for Lestat's proposal to bolster the support of B. That's fine. From there, things got worse. The monstrous member from Salem, who we thought was Vlad, reached across the table X, reached across type X, who we thought was Orlok, to slap Spike, forcing the representative from Bran on the Salemites' other side to restrain him. And from the third seat,
That was Salem.
which we still thought was
Hmm.
Salem, which is sounding a little fishy, the advocate for substituting type F for those unfortunate dictative creatures, but clashed with the vampire known as the Terrible, who insisted on funding type AB instead. Matters came to a head when Barnabas and Lestat, adjacent to one another, aligning their opposition to the New Orleanian plan. Fund X, luckily Louisiana cannot be described as either grim nor fierce because we think he's cruel, occupied the 4th seat. The grim member, however, said nothing. The grim member
We think is Nandor, the ex officio
Nandor.
member.
said nothing as Orlok and his neighbor, the member from Agra, quarreled with the representative in the second chair. That would still be fine.
Yeah.
No one need remind our readership that Spike, the Salemite, and the Terrible, so that would be Spike is not the Salemite, and nor are any of them the Terrible, all have a long history of shared opposition to proposal in favor of type B with the second seater.
that's Lestat.
Yeah, so that's all good except for this reaching across the table business. Because unless we think,
Kermit, give me an insight check.
I think there's
Permit?
6 seats. I still think there's 6 seats.
All right, insight check. 14.
You wonder whether maybe the correspondent might have just been a little loose in his description. Maybe.
I think that saying that someone's across the table doesn't literally mean they're like across the table, just a different seat at the table. I
like
think.
maybe they could even be next to them, like,
Dad,
Sure.
I'm going to check the solutions, and if he isn't literally across the table, but rather figuratively across the table, I support Ben.
Like I said, I think you can explain it away if you put Nandor at the table. I don't think anything that Aaron just went through is inconsistent with Nandor sitting there in seat 6.
Fine.
Nandor, Melbourne,
Grim A
Cool.
ex officio.
or Nandor, what was he?
He's the Grim.
The Grim?
Going to be available to read with Calvin soon, or should I start reading with him?
I will. Pretty soon. Yeah.
I mean, so the question is there a whole different solution that involves putting
Yeah, I mean, look, my inclination would be to say we've done good work for the week, and maybe we can noodle just to see if we think there's anything wrong here. But
The part I'm not a fan of is everything that's not mentioned, we assume goes to the ex officio member. Right?
we were doing that, but like we did back out that assumption.
Yeah, we got rid of Grim, for example.
Yeah.
Well, then how did you get like that Barnabas was terrible, for example?
Let's see.
Sorry, I don't mean
No.
or like that Orlock. I think Orlock could be the guy from Melbourne. I don't see why that's not the case.
Let's see. So
Well, Orlock is sponsoring proposals, and Melbourne is definitely the ex officio person.
Can an ex officio member not sponsor proposals?
I don't know. Tell us about your time on the council. Oh,
This reminds me, quite honestly, about Josh breaking out Robert's Rules of Order during White's cabinet. Point of
As is
personal
tradition.
privilege. Oh my
point of personal privilege was, I think, my favorite.
There you go.
Oh, hold on. The speaker from Melbourne offered tepid support for the supply of type B, but Orlock quarreled with the representative and second chair. Okay, I'm convinced. All right, so Orlock is in C4. Sorry, you know, you're long before I get it.
Yeah. So Spike,
The
the Salemite, and the Terrible all have a long history of opposing type B. Also.
Okay. Thank you for your patience.
I feel like this was good for my brain tonight, even though it was not easy.
It was not, but it was new.
Are we feeling confident we got there?
Well, we went through and we didn't run into anything that.
Well, aside from this geographic issue.
Well, also we haven't been directed to take an insight check by the DM, so perhaps I'm gonna.
Also, pentagrams are 5-pointed, by the way.
Sam,
but
give me an insight
Oh.
check.
Oh, no,
Gonna
it's
get
not
another
insight
one.
that you guys should be worried about. Make a perception check as your surroundings.
Oh, well, I mean,
Ooh.
you're I can tell you what your surroundings are. You're standing outside the windmill.
Honeydew is considering getting the cops to trespass you.
I got a 16 this time. If you meant me for me to do that.
With an insight check of 16, I will give you that you think, gosh, if only we had a lock to try out a potential solution on.
Oh,
We have a pamphlet with
Well-
contact information for a locksmith.
Mhm.
Maybe the lock is at the castle?
And they'll be labeled they'll be labeled with names, they'll be labeled with blood types, they'll be labeled with adjectives. Yes,
Would be a pretty secure lock.
yes.
And the question is what ring goes with what, right? So there's only,
Yeah, I think when we find the lock, they'll have these labels on,
that'd be awesome. As opposed to having to try.
especially if they're in a certain order that they can only be turned and not like rearranged.
Yeah, that would be really great.
That would make things easier,
24 times easier.
something like that.
I'll defer to you.
That would make a big difference.
All right, well, should we call it for tonight? And
Yeah, I gotta go. That was that was good stuff.
Yep, it was intense.
15 minutes of role play and 2 hours of torture. All right,
That was fun.
it was good. I love
Really
puzzles.
fun.
I really love puzzles, to be honest. But
Me and Dad said that either you guys would solve it in 5 minutes or 5 hours.
well,
I'm gonna-
And we were wrong on both counts, and I love it.
oh, we got there.
All right. Good one,
Got
y'all.
there.
All right.
all right.
Good night, everybody. Have a good week.
Good night, guys.
Take care.
Have a
Bye.
good week.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
Oh, absolutely. I'm loving it. Talk to you.